bullshit blazing, still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game. Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one. How dare you? My time is my word. Your words will never let me disappear. That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new word. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the game.
Aliens. Aliens, the creatures from beyond the space. To some, aliens can be our greatest heroes, as shown in many comics. And sometimes the aliens can be the biggest bad. And sometimes aliens can be both, good and the bad. And these two, somewhere being anti-heroes or anti-villains you may put it, are one of those examples. Bardock, the lowest class Saiyan warrior and the father of Son Goku. And Omni-Man, the veteran soldier and the father of Invincible. Now, considering there is some complication between Bardock's own continuity, for the sake of it, I'm combining the two Dragon Ball specials that feature Bardock and Dragon Ball Super. It still has the same character but different scenarios. And I was going on to any appearance or non-canon appearance for Bardock, which include Xenoverse / Super, and any game that feature him in different storylines, etc. As for Omni-Man, I'm gonna be combining both the Amazon Prime and the original comic. Yes, I know they're different scenarios, but it still has the same character with the same motivation, etc. And trust me, I haven't seen season 2. With that in mind, I am Deso24 and my job to analyze detailed fantasy who win in a deadly duel. In space, there's a planet called Planet Tuffle. Planet Tuffle, it had two sides. The Tuffles, who are known in logical and high events, while the Saiyans are more barbaric and ruthless. The war between two sides, but at the end, the Saiyans proved too much to the Tuffles, ending their feud. And then years later, they team up with space pirates, and then years later, they are being enslaved by King Cole and his son, Frieza. The next line, King Vegeta and the rest of the Saiyans are basically forced as well as enslaved by the hands of the tyrant. And soon later, get their planet destroyed by the same guy. But there's one person who did try to stand up. This is Bardock. Bardock is the father of Son Goku. You see, just keep in mind, there are two versions of Bardock, so I combine both. Anywho, Bardock, along with his Saiyan squadron, had defeated many of conquered planets, and eventually did manage to land on one planet. We'll get to it later. Anywho, on that field planet, he came across with a bunch of species, and then he saw a flash of vision while he was healing. Events that was his son, faced up with tougher opponents, which is basically a planet of telepaths seeing the future, and where he gained a future sense. Or to put it simply from Dragon Ball Bridge,
I can see the future! Vegeta have a kid! Boo as a child! Reaches his perfect form! Trying to Trunks become a guy! God is the strongest in the universe, but still doesn't do crap!
yeah, that's basically in a nutshell. Or, at this case, in a planet. Yeah, what that's saying. Dang, I just made a Saiyan joke. Okay, but on the serious side, after Bardock saw the future, that was nothing. Up until he saw his own squad being killed by the hands of Frieza's men. Knowing that Frieza had a store for the Saiyan's destruction, Bardock had no choice to face out against Frieza alone. Although he was planning to put an army, but that failed. But anyways, as a Saiyan, he is surprisingly that good. He is capable of flying off to space, attacking Frieza's men, or FighterZ in Japanese. He was able to keep up in space too. And as for Saiyan, he is surprisingly strong and somehow way durable. He can able to take a blast from multiple members of Frieza's army, and many more. And plus, as a Saiyan, he tend to gain a Senkai. Senkais are basically like a boost, giving them a martial power up. Well, by through combat, or being pure pressure, or being hit. There's a few more I could say, but we'll be here long, especially when we go to Omni-Man. So let's continue. He also possesses Ki, which is basically energy, life force, and martial arts. And Bardock possesses it, create Ki points, etc. He gets able to go into flying, able to fly in speed thanks to Ki, and a few more. There's also a few techniques, but I'm not so sure, especially to the game canon. But one of them being a Wild Joe, which is a technique during energy of blast. However, even then, Bardock failed, and eventually cannot save Planet Vegeta by the hands of Frieza, causing the death to not just him, but every Saiyan in the planet. Or that was until the episode of Bardock, which it gets sillier to the next. Anyways, in this event, Bardock somehow survived, but also somehow teleported back in time to Planet Vegeta before events. And there was Frieza's grandfather, Lord Chilled. He's basically like, what if Frieza and Mickey Mouse have a baby? Yeah, I just went there. But during this event, Bardock gained a power-up, a form, the Super Saiyan. Well, the Great Ape's shown to be a huge heart potential, but that's mostly because to the exposure to the full moon. But comparing to that to Super Saiyan, that is completely a different story. The Super Saiyan will gain 50 times power increase to the Saiyan user, and is shown tough enough to face off with different many strong warriors, including Lord Chill, and did eventually kill him, although kinda that mostly end up being damaging him. So a kill. But anyways, yeah, despite all that, and as well as few stubbornness, and surprisingly enough, how he didn't die from the hands of Frieza, Bardock is surprisingly that have his own fair share of feats, especially with Saiyan. Anyways, Bardock managed to annihilate a species with his own team, defeated Deborah's elite besides Doria, survived Doria Mount Blast, I'm gonna fire, and even defeated Lord Chill, Frieza's ancestor, with a single blast. And yes, he did survive and take in Frieza's supernova ball. Don't ask me how. I'm still questioning about that. Well, it's like they say. I'm just saying. I did it again. I guess King Kite was right about the whole entire story about Saiyans. But yeah, anyway, despite all that, Bardock, even a Saiyan, do have fair share of flaws. Despite of being a Saiyan warrior, Bardock had trained the weakness away, which he became much weaker, and based on gravity's tail being removed or grabbed. And for the Great Eight, it required him to be gain a full moon. And he tended to be cocky, especially where it showed example with Face Frieza. And while the Super Saiyan did give him power, but unlike Goku's and Vegeta's, this is more kind of like a weaker version. Especially only just face out with Lord Chill in the first time. So there's something you could say there. Oh, and also forgot to mention, his future scene kind of always getting a late delay. as shown both as special and pretty much any media you can think of. But in the end, Bardock still proven time again that he is a proud Saiyan. While we still don't know how he survived, or at least given a chance, his legacy did hold up to the end, as his son Goku defeated Frieza not once but twice. And not only that, thanks to his son, his Goku managed to save the universe from the hands of Majin Buu, and eventually and surprisingly survived battle against the god of destruction, Beerus. Well, sadly, what we don't know what happened to Bardock, but Sonny tells me this ain't the last of him.
これで全てが
Throughout the galaxies, there are many aliens you could discover, fish or not. And of course, there's a few I could say there's more. And some can be weird. One of the most advanced ones known today is the Viltrumates. The Viltrumates are basically peaceful people who can able to save a lot of lives and protect them, giving them fire, water, or many more. One of them being Nolan. Nolan is assigned to Earth to protect the planet itself, and alongside with the Guardians of the Globe. It's basically their image version of the Justice League. Yeah, no, seriously, just look it up. Anywho, Nolan and the rest of the Guardians of the Globe and Korea heroes saved the world. Until their ironic deaths. Oh no, not by the villains, not by anyone they know, is... Yeah, everything I said a little bit about Vegemites, yeah, I lied. They're not really peaceful, they're actually conquerors. Story at least to the character Omni-Man. But anyways, yeah, Viltrumates are basically a conquering empire. Of course, they had to start off by killing some of their strongest and some of the weak, to prove who can survive them more. And the Viltrumates does it well. Their goal is to expand their empire, making them the only empire to live. They conquer many planets, and of course, there are some alien species do surrender, and while they are now slaves, they can preserve technology from them. And for those who didn't, well, let's just say they're not gonna see the light of day. They died. Yeah, I got no simple answer for that. They died from the hands of them. And Nolan is one of those people or soldiers to being part of the invasion. However, their expansion gone slow due to the planets being aware about their existence. Their solution: send the soldier to a different planet, infiltrate and destroy their shield, and etc. Although Nolan decided not to after seeing his wife, family, and so on. Up until his son, Mark Grayson, had his own path to Viltrumite powers, which led Nolan to trying to finish his mission. Hell, he even trying to convince his own son to join him. The whole join the dark side. And of course, Invincible say, well, no. And that even led to a most brutal beatdown of all fiction. And Dig Mark! Although it does shock an Omni-Man, it does let him to leaving Earth for good, forever never seen ever again. Or that was, until there is some more about Omni-Man, and so you better sit down. This gonna be a long one. So after Omni-Man being left the whole planet Earth, he decided to find a new planet and basically trying to exile himself somewhere that even everyone else don't know where he is. Fortunately, he was land on a different planet full of bugs, or mantis to be put it, and they're best of their own with a tyrant. Of course, Noah did manage to become the king and defeat their former emperor, or king. I mean, it's not that bad. I read the whole issue. Still the same, but hey, it could have been worse. But hey, overall, he did manage to lead a new family and did pick up new responsibilities as now for the king. Until this tirade, except for his own baby son, pretty much survived. But hey, at least now that both Nolan and his son Mark did patch up. Not fast, but kinda slow, to be put it. But then again, he came from the race of conquerors, but he's still redeeming. And as a Viltrumate, there's some benefits to it that you could say that Nolan does have. For starters, as a Viltrumate, he possessed superhuman strength, speed, and durability. Hell, he even strong enough to keep up with other heavy hitters, including being able to live over about somewhere 3,000. And hell, even he survived many tons, especially he can able to fly from planet to planet. It does survive a lot, I mean a lot. Including brutal hits from like the Omni-Man and other Viltrumites like Conquest or other characters I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Frankly, there are a lot you could say about Nolan, especially some others. And of course, as an alien, he does possess powers. He is his skilled and master warrior, counts over 1,000 years, and plus he is a mastery of many of Avengers' combat technique and skills. He also showed to be a much more skilled survivor, surviving a whole entire race. He is surprised that also can survive being in space for a very long time. He is shown to be far faster, and he have many enchanted longest without even surviving without no food, or even oxygen at that matter. And of course, he does possess a healing factor, which is much more faster than regular humans, and can be able to recover even from a snap in tooth spine. And there's a few more. And weird thing is, he can once he create a baby by you know what, he can to create a son. Though as is kind of weird, but even though that Nolan Omni-Man has some fair share of flaws, fair share of ups and downs, he's still proven one of the most, well, let's be honest, the most powerful character in the series, besides some others from other film series, of course. He did become the king of the Mantis planet, I know there's the name of it. He did manage to fight and defeat the space racer, to be put it, by trapping him under a rubber 10,000 years, or sorry, 100 years at least. And plus, alongside with other Viltrumites, he managed to conquer over a few planets, including Alan's own home world. And there's a few, and I'm pretty sure some of them he did play a part by teaming up with them. And heck, he managed to show no mercy. Even at the time, he managed to kill off. And I had to say, the image version of Justice League, the Guardians of the Glow with no issue. Hell, he managed to defeat the Immortal, who is literally immortal not once, but surprisingly twice. Yeah, there's a lot you gotta say. And hell, he even managed to face off with other superheroes from the Image Comics too, like Supreme. Don't worry if you remember this character, no one really remembered Liefeld Youngblood, except for like Liefeld fanboys. Yeah, it's proven that Omni-Man is a tough nut, but as a character in fiction, he have fair share of flaws. Heck, even we could say it, even Omni-Man, the most one that belonged to an invincible race, can be killed, and honestly, there is a reason why that he have died in the series, or almost brutally murdered or died in a few times. His body is more vulnerable on the inside, and he have no extra superhuman abilities, for right now at least. Plus, Viltrumites can be departed by certain frequencies, and exposure could kill them. And yeah, there's a few I could say, but that's the most shortest ones I could think of. And hell, even when his own abilities can save him, it cannot save him from death, like trying to save his own son, but only to be killed by another Viltrumate in the final few issues of Invincible. But then again, part of Noah's journey is from being a soldier of a concrete race, from seeing the planet that he thought that he will be able to conquer for his own planet, decided not to. But that turned around after his son managed to gain superpowers, the Viltrumite ones. But that led him to have emotions, and even caused him to leaving planet for good and exile it forever. But he did manage to let a new family, a new home. It's not perfect, but it does manage to let him to be more peaceful and learn to understand. Up until his son is raised, except for presumably his, I don't remember correctly, his son. And he and his other son, Mark, did manage to fall off against the two Viltrumites who did kill his own family and an entire race of Blue Mantis. And heck, he did lead to how he became a hero again by teaming up with another alien, Alan, a Cyclops alien, orange one. And hey, he and his own son Mark did patch up after the whole lie, to be fair. But that's part of Noah's journey, redemption. His whole entire journey is redeeming himself not just as a hero, but also as a father. And yes, that includes the time where he had to sacrifice himself to save his own son to finish the fight once and for all. And yes, that also led to his death. That even his son is shockingly sad, but does manage to keep moving on to the next few years. But in the end, while many say it's just a murder, but he did redeem. It did save a lot of lives, especially his own son, which Mark, Nolan's son, managed to become the next ruler for the Vegemite race. That's pretty neat, and hey, he managed to let a wife, another superhero, Adam Eve. And yes, while you could say that Noah's action had been murderously bad, but he did manage to forgive by his own son and wife, and eventually did turn around a new leaf. So yes, while Omni-Man is now gone, his legacy does live. But if he ever returns, maybe like a crossover or something, he'll return as stronger, faster than before. As such, while there may characters out there become strong, but for Nolan, he is the one.
I need a shower.
Alright, with both combatants having been done analyzed, it's time to see who wins. And the winner is... Omni-Man. Why do I feel like Dragon Ball fanboys gonna come after me? I'll do about it. But yeah, Omni-Man do win this episode, and there is some good reasons for it. But to be fair, there are some advantages that I could say for Bardock. In terms of what I could say about Bardock, in terms of his power, is far greater than a Viltrumite. Hell, even then, he is capable and outbest some other characters, even though that in Super Saiyan form kinda weaker. Still important that it managed to free up opponents like War Chill. But that's mostly just about it. Sometimes power and strength ain't enough. For starters, Omni-Man is shown to be far faster, as shown to keep up with others, especially with other speedsters like the hands of Space Racer. That's literally his name. And also, due to his experience on hold, he is capable to know who capable to fight, especially those who are considered to be superpowered beings. Yes, you could say that Bardock's skills in combat could give an upper hand, but not really. To be fair, while Bardock is considered to have fought tougher and survived much ridiculous stuff, including War Chill, but that's mostly just it. Hell, if you really think about it, Omni-Man is considered to be capable of outsmarting many supernatural beings, including the Guardian of the Globe, who, in turn, are basically a skilled and level-headed hero team, including able to kill off Immortal, who, in definition, is literally titled Immortal, and Omni-Man knew how to kill them, especially different ways. Hell, even in the TV show, he know how to do so. Even the comic is shown to be faster. And compared to between both Bardock and Omni-Man, Omni-Man is capable of fighting against tougher and bigger beings. And compare which is superior Viltrumites. Yes, while Saiyans are capable of conquering too, but only requiring the Great Ape and as well few big numbers. Same with Viltrumites, but the only difference is, even alone or a group, Viltrumites are capable of conquering planets with no problem. As in TV show, each Omni-Man may able to destroy and pretty much torture a planet. Look, the point I'm saying, well, Bardock is capable of far powerful and let's be honest, more durable and turn stronger, but even then, Omni-Man is far faster, very experienced, and well, let's face it, a skilled combatant, and show different based on different regiment and so on and doing the list. Now, the $1 million question, can Bardock's prediction can save the day? Not really. Yes, it does show him in the future, but it does mostly show the events going to happen to him afterwards. Yes, you could see a prediction what I'm gonna do, but that's mostly it. As shown that he, as seen in the future, which is showing events similarly to the episode of Bardock and pretty much a iteration beginning with planet destruction and Saiyans. Hell, and yes, while the Super Saiyan form is capable of face out toe with Omni-Man, but that's mostly go for it. Omni-Man just wait over his Bardock's sleeve, and shown that he is capable of killing off many tougher opponents, and let's face it, shown to be far ruthless than the next. And yeah, I know there's many outcomes that Bardock win, but hey, I'm just saying, the winner is Omni-Man.
One last piece of fatherly advice, okay? You might want to change.